Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Todd from All Music, and we are back for another top six picks. My favorite albums from the year 1983. And let's get right into it today. Let's just get started with number six. And so my number six for 1983 would be the Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues. Yeah, I really like the Talking Heads back in this period. I just something about the bass lines and the quirkiness of it all. I really like it. They had quite a few hits off of this album as well. They had "Burning Down the House," "Making Flippy Floppy" is pretty good. "Girlfriend is Better." Really like that song. "Slippery People," "I Get Wild," "Wild Gravity," "Swamp," "Moon Rocks" is cool. "Pulling Up the Roots," and there must be the place. These are all really cool songs. Really like them. Um, just I don't know, something about they were very different at the time, and I really enjoyed how, just what they were offering at that point. Mostly just the funkiness and the newness of it, I think, and it's not even the hit songs that are my favorite. Some of the deeper cuts I really like a lot more. But that being said, it's a good album. And there's a lot of good albums to choose from this year, 1983. But that's my number six pick, which leads us then to my number five. Number five for 1983. Great. Let's see. Great album. I loved these guys back then. This is the Fix. "Reach the Beach." Very cool. I was really into the Fix for quite a long time. I saw them perform live at the local venue here in town. Hardly anybody there. It was kind of after. It was way after this. This is 1983. I think I saw them in the 90s, but I was buying their albums way past this point and really digging them. Love just all the elements of the Fix. I love Psy's voice and his lyrical content. I love the keyboard player. He's uh, almost like special effects, like kind of keyboard player. Super cool. Great bass lines, good guitar work. Really a cool band. They had a lot of hits off this album, though a couple anyways. "One Thing Leads to Another," "The Sign of Fire," "Running," "Saved by Zero" was a big hit. "Opinion," "Reach the Beach," "Changing," "Liner," "Privilege," "Outside." Those are all great songs. A fantastic album, man. Yeah, so big fan. It was a really cool concert too because hardly anybody was there, like I was starting to say, and Cy, the lead singer, we were just in a small club here in town, and he just pulled everybody up front. He just said, "Hey, everybody, come down." There was people back in the bar areas, a few people hanging out in the mezzanine, but he just pulled everybody right up to the stage. It was a few feet deep. I don't know how many, a couple hundred people maybe at the most, but man, what a great show. I was right up against the stage, and he was, not gonna disappoint. That's for sure. The band did great. Loved it. Super cool. The Fix was they were a fixture in my musical taste back then, and for 1983, that's one of my favorite albums for sure. Uh, just super cool music and kind of different too. Not your run of the mill music that was going on. Actually, this year is pretty diverse, really, as far as all the different types of albums I like. I mean, just consider my number four pick for 1983, and this is very different than the two that I just went over. But this one is Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, this true legend. This album, "Texas Flood," is just chock full of some of his just greatest guitar work. What a fabulous guitar player, and just gone way too soon. He would have been he is a legend, but God, can you imagine him and just some of the other people that were guitar heroes back then, or just in their youth, and just died too early. And Stevie Ray Vaughan is definitely one. But I mean, just some of these songs, "Love Struck Baby," great song. "Pride and Joy," I play that song at every gig that I play with. That when Ray's playing with me, man, he'll kick that song off, and boom, man, people are into it right away, man. It's such a cool intro and just a great up-tempo song, and just just super awesome album. Texas Flood, Tell Me, Testify, Rude Mood, Mary Had a Little Lamb. I've played that a bunch of times. A lot of different like blues jams and things like that. Dirty Pool, I'm Crying. I love that song. Lenny, Tin Pan Alley. Just a fantastic album. And when it comes to guitar players, I mean, there really is. He's in the elite. Let's just put it that way. He's in the elite, especially in the blues genre, and he is so respectful too, with some of the older blues musicians that he learned from. And you can see, I've seen some videos where he was playing with these just legends in the blues, and how much he respected them, and he would emulate them. And you could see the whoever it was, I can't remember. I've seen him play with a few different pretty big blues guys. They just loved Stevie. You can tell that they were, not only what did he respect them, but they admired him as well. Super respected amongst the traditional blues guys, that were getting older back when he was younger and doing this, because this is 1983. So back then some of the blues guys were getting older, but just mad respect, that's for sure. All right, so that's man, we're already at number 3. We're halfway through with this. I'm getting faster at this, as you can see. Okay, so now number 3. So we are going to go with another Def Leppard album, Pyromania. Pretty darn big album. I liked it a lot. I really I've always liked Def Leppard, even when their popularity kind of waned throughout the 90s. I don't know why they just became sort of almost like, I don't know, they almost became like a joke or something like that. I don't really know how to explain it, but they came back pretty good. And there was no reason for anyone to hate on them. It's just, just the sign of the times, I guess. And the 90s was all about a bunch of different styles of music coming in, because, but at this time, 1983, boy, Def Leppard was on top of the charts, and they were riding high. You got rock and roll, rock till you drop. That's funny. I just realized that that's where I got that from, because my little dog's name is Rocket, and I always say rock till you drop to him. Anyways, Photograph, Stage Fright, Too Late for Love. These are all great songs. Die Hard, The Hunter, Foolin', Rock of Ages, just great song. Coming Under Fire, Action, Not Words, and it's kind of my motto these days: action, not words. And Billy's Got a Gun. Super, super cool album. Love Def Leppard so much. Even now, some of these albums after this are just super cool, and I don't know if they'll land in my top 6 picks, in the upcoming years, but definitely up to this point, they were riding high, and number 3 on my list. All right, that brings us to number 2. Number 2. Now, this is an album of a band that's been around for a long time at this point. Yes. And frankly, I'm probably going to get some lashback on this, but this is probably my favorite Yes album. And for hardcore Yes fans, that's probably not the right thing to say, but I really love this album. Ton of hits on this album, and even the songs that weren't hits are amazing songs. Definitely some. They had Trevor Horn and Trevor Raven involved with this album through songwriting, guitar playing, and producing, and things like that. But they pulled out a really good album as far as I'm concerned. Owner of a Lonely Heart, just incredible song. I love that song. Hold On, another great song. It Can Happen. It Can Happen to You. It Can Happen to Me. So great. Changes is another great song. Cinema is a really cool little 2 minute instrumental. Leave It, great song. Our Song, City of Love, another cool one. Hearts, they're just all really good songs. This is a fantastic album. So if you are a, diehard old school 70s, yes, fan, I understand. I mean, I like them too. I like it back then too. Um, but this one here, there's just something about it that really resonated with me. And kind of going side by side, hand in hand, in a way, with that album is my number one. My number one album, I had them both at the same time and listened to them, not simultaneously, not at the same exact time, but I'd listen to one, then listen to the other, listen to one, and they were rotating back and forth for a long time with me. And again, this is one of my favorite, all-time favorite bands, and um, this is a great album, and to some, maybe their last great album, but it's Genesis. And this is their kind of self-titled album, but it's also kind of known by, uh, it's also called Shapes sometimes. Uh, I've even heard some refer to it as the Mama album, even though uh, it, around this time they were doing a Mama tour, I think it was, and that's kind of how it gets kind of gets that name. But love this album. I was very happy with it, being a Genesis fan up to this point. And Mama is a killer song, and they played this live. There's some great live versions on YouTube of this song. Um, that's all. Really cool pop song. Loved it when I heard it on the radio. I remember I was at work, and this song came on. I was just like, "Wow, that's really cool." I liked it a lot. Home by the Sea, another great song, and right into you got to listen to Second Home by the Sea. Um, as a Genesis fan, you don't really separate the two in my book. Illegal Alien, it's kind of a fun song, a little bit quirky. Taking It All Too Hard, definitely, more of a almost ballady type song. Just a Job to Do is another one of their pop hits. Silver Rainbow, and It's Gonna Get Better. It's gonna get better. Yeah, it's really another kind of Phil Collins-y sort of pop ballad. But I don't know, something about his. Um, I like his lyrics, but what I really like about Phil Collins is almost like I think it's his melodies too. I really just like the way he sings up to this point, anyways. Uh, then that's it. That's my top six album picks for 1983. Number six was the Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues. The Fix, Reach the Beach is number five. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood, number four. Super Killer, love it, love it, love it. Pyromania by Def Leppard is number three. And then you've got Yes, 90125. Love that album. Every song is just killer. And then you've got Genesis, the Shapes album, as it's sometimes called. A lot of pop hits off that, but they also had still some proggy stuff left on there for us, old school prog dudes to enjoy, but also kind of moving into the poppy stuff too, which I don't know, their poppy stuff I like too. So um, I've expressed it before with Genesis, is that some of the hardcore old school fans don't like this stuff, um, but I am definitely an all era Genesis fan, and I like pretty much all their stuff. There's no denying it. Yeah, they've changed a lot. Sure, I mean they changed, but I guess if they didn't change, they might not have been who they are. If they would have stayed proggy all through the 80s and 90s and all that, they probably wouldn't have the success that they actually enjoyed. You listen to their concert and and you get their pop songs, but then all of a sudden they'll start doing some of these old school prog songs, and those fans are there to see that, and then the newer fans are there to see the pop stuff, but they get exposed to that other stuff that they're like, oh, I don't never heard that song before, and maybe they go back and listen to it. So pretty cool. Genesis is a pretty unique band, really. all in all, they've had such a long career and with a lot of different styles of music. Um, but let me just briefly go through some of the competition this year. I mean, seriously, it was pretty tough to get my favorites, but I mean, but these are my favorites out of all this stuff, really. You've got things like Murmur from REM and Synchronicity, The Police, and some of these are really I love these bands. You know, War from U2. I love. I mean, U2. I think after this point, is they became one of my favorite bands. You know, starting probably next year. You've got you know, things that I wasn't really into at the time, like Cyndi Lauper, Lionel Richie, and the Pointer Sisters. But you got Tom Waits, you got ZZ Top's Eliminator, great album. The Violent Femmes. You've got Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind, great album. Oh man, you got things like Madonna's album that came out, Eurythmics, David Bowie's Let's Dance was out. Metallica's Kill 'Em All came out in '83, super cool. Journey's Frontier. You got some Huey Lewis, Holy Diver by Dio. Great. You know, definitely in my top 10. You know, if I was going to have four more on my list, some of these would be in there for sure. You got things like New Order and Bryan Adams and Marillion. If you're into the proggy stuff. U2 also had Under a Blood Red Sky the same year, which is a live album. Rebel Yell by Billy Idol. That was cool back then. You know, Billy Idol, you know, you gotta love him. Um, let's see, Tears for Fears, Duran Duran, Seven and the Ragged Tiger, Suicidal Tendencies. I mean, so much. You've got Shout at the Devil, Motley Crue, Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon, Robert Plant, Principle of Moments. Oh gosh, I can just go on and on. There's so much stuff. A lot of stuff here I wasn't really into, and I don't even have the desire to check it out. I've heard some of it, but just you know, the Porcupine by Echo and the Bunnymen. I never was an Echo and the Bunnymen fan, but some people just really loved it. Rolling Stones Undercover. You got a little Rick Springfield action going on. Living in Oz. Let's see, Pink Floyd, The Final Cut. Not one of my favorite Pink Floyd albums, not at all. I had it back then, and I tried so hard. I learned a few songs off of it, but just couldn't do it. I mean, I went back and visited it again last year after a buddy of mine told me he liked it, but and you know, I liked it better than when I first heard it. You know, coming off just a string of huge albums, you know, and then all the ways through the wall, and then all of a sudden getting this final cut. Not quite what I enjoyed, but let's see. You know, and there's other stuff here too. Robert Cray Band and Elvis Costello. But you know, Paul McCartney, Pat Benatar, good stuff all around. But that's my top six, and I'm sticking to it for sure. All right, well, hey, that's 1983 and 1984. We're going to do our special edition 1984. So we will do a top 10 with a little more in-depth analysis of each song. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up real soon. I've also got this Saturday, I've got we're going to, Jeff Castanon's going to be my guest again, and we're going to go through song by song the Duran Duran album Rio. So let's look forward to that. And also, a few other things coming up too. So keep your ears posted and subscribe to my channel, like, and do all that stuff that the algorithms like. So it helps me build my channel. Comment in the comment section if you like. Let me know what your favorite songs are, or if you like any of the ones I like, or I mean albums, I should say. I keep saying songs, but I mean albums. I keep misspeaking all the time, and I realize that. But just go with it and know that I get it. I hear when I say it, and I just move on, because I'm not editing any of this. I'm just going straight through. So I'm not trying to fix it. I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. I'm just kind of giving you my favorites, and I'm giving it to you right now live. So anyways, go down in the description, check out some of the ways you can help support the channel. Also, I've got my I got a coffee mug here. It's my All Music coffee mug. I'm going to be presenting gonna have a little contest pretty soon for a free mug, and also a free 12-ounce bag of the Life Boost coffee as well. I'm going to be giving away, and there'll be more about that coming up, possibly in tomorrow's special edition. I'll give you more details on how you can win that. And all right, so thank you so much for subscribing and watching the videos and everything like that. So once again, Todd Ledbetter from All Music, and we will see you in 1984. Bye-bye.